Good evening, everyone present here. I'm Justin Mary Thomas from Family Third Year, and I'll be your host for today's session. Firstly, I would like to welcome all the dignitaries present with us. Dr. G.D. Gupta, sir, Director cum Principal, ISF College of Pharmacy. Respected Dr. Saurabh Kose, sir, Professor and Head, Department of Pharmacy Practice, ISF College of Pharmacy, as well as all the faculty members of ISF College of Pharmacy and my dear students. Today, we all have gathered here for an alumni talk session with our guest speaker, Dr. Dipanshu Chitra, on pharmacovigilance and its industrial insights. Now, I would like to invite Dr. Haneed sir, Professor, Department of Pharmacy Practice, ISF College of Pharmacy, to address and welcome the speaker. The dice is yours, sir. Let us begin by welcoming our esteemed guest speaker, Dr. Dipanshu Chitra. Dr. Dipanshu Chitra is Senior Associate Manager at Elanco Innovation and Alliance Center with over 7 years of experience in pharmacovigilance. A Doctor of Pharmacy graduate, he specializes in case management, regulatory submissions, and pharmacovigilance training. Dr. Chitra is dedicated to enhancing drug safety practices and nurturing the next generation of professionals in the field of pharmacovigilance. Now, I would like to invite Sir to deliver his session. The dice is yours, sir.
Thank you so much. First of all, a very warm good afternoon to everyone present here. I can see some of the familiar faces, Dr. Kose, Dr. Mehan, as well as I think Dr. Gupta has also joined, or hasn't he? Okay. So yeah,
Just about to join. Welcome, Dr. Chitra. Happy to see you. Happy Diwali.
same here as well. Happy Diwali to you also. Happy Diwali to all the students.
And ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce Dr. Chitra is alumnus to us in 2012 to 18 batch of Doctor of Pharmacy, ISF College of Pharmacy, and is one of the promising candidate who did observership internship from Portes, AIMS, and various participated in multi-facet activities at ISFCP at his tenure of Doctor of Pharmacy course. So in the meantime, Dr. Chitra, Dr. Gupta is about to join. I just had a communication with sir. So just 1 or 2 minutes we will wait. And I would like to also welcome Professor Mehan sir, IQAC coordinator, ISF College of Pharmacy. Thank you, sir, for providing this platform to all of us to have this alumni interaction. So within this span of time, Dr. Chitra, you can share first your memories, first to 2 minutes.
Yes, sir. So yes, there has been lots of memories. I still remember the first day. There was no clues about what FAMD is, or we had just heard about what internationally it looked like. But then, especially for me, who came from a non-medical background, yes, I had PCM as my specialization in my +1 and +2. So transitioning that into the medical side seemed like a daunting task ahead. And but I would really like to appreciate the efforts put in by our esteemed faculty members, and especially when like Dr. Kose joined us, we were about to have our first year completed. At that moment, he actually joined, and he was the one who knew what like pharmacy practice looks like, because he had come from like such a prestigious institute, which is SRM. So as you all know, SRM has like the world class facilities, and so he brought that experience to actually transition the the curriculum as well as the facilities that are required what a pharmd candidate needs. Obviously we had learned over the years. We had uh, we had built a mutual relationship, be it with the faculties, be it with our hospital partners, right? So where we used to go for our ward rounds as well as for our clerkship as well. So yes, it was an amazing journey, and as they say that the college life is the one where you actually uh, form your professional footsteps, so that you can traverse on them when you actually begin your journey once you are into the market. So yes, the
Right,
journey was actually
absolutely. So, Dr. Chitra, you are one of the alumni to 18 batch, and I would like to welcome Professor G.D. Gupta, sir. Sir has joined. Welcome, sir. Good afternoon, sir. And sir, I would like to call you for a couple of minutes as blessings to all audience. Sir, please.
I think no problem to continue, Dr. Chitra ji, but thank you very much, Dr. Saurabh Kose ji. So, on behalf of ISF College of Pharmacy, I welcome Dr. Deepanshu Chitra ji, and I also welcome all these faculty members, dignitaries, and students, those who are connect on the online mode on this webinar. The purpose behind of this series to interact with the alumni so that we come to know the what is the basic need today's in the academia, industry, hospital, health profession, so that we can find out the things in a justify and in the true manner. As we know that academia is a process related to the course curriculum and like that, but in the health profession every day one of the new technology and new of the concept is the growing very fast. For this purpose it is required to tune with the time, temperament, and the technology. So the purpose of this types of the lecture, Dr. Chitraji, because you are in the field and you are every day you are the feeling lot of problems and they are resolve the problem, so that you can give the actual information to the student what types of the things is need in the field or need in the after the completion of your degree. So degree is not a sufficient nowadays. For this purpose, if you want to the grow very fast, you need the number of the thing, including personality development, including the way of presentability, data maintenance and data representability, data you can say compilation of your data in a justified manner. So as we know that what is the concept of the artificial intelligence? Artificial intelligence only provide the system so that you can find out the each and everything in the transparent movement like that. If you have the thousands of the data and how you can justify and synchronize on the point of view area wise, district wise, like so many things like that. So this types of the basic skill knowledge required for the student. Even that nowadays what I am the feeling that students are doing the maximum work on their phone and they are the minimum use of their laptop. So this types of the habit is the also harmful to the student because you are working on the small screen first thing. Second thing, what types of the report and do you want to present the data? It is required the excellent manner of the you can say just like a laptop. So laptop practice, laptop keyboard handling and laptop handling like that in the data presentability as the PPT form and any other form, it is required nowadays. So this is my request to Dr. Deepansuji. You can give the actual what is the need of the student. We are doing the ward round, we are doing regular classes, practical, presentation, case study, so many things. That's okay. This is the regular job role and this is the curriculum activity. What behind the curriculum, what is the required? So that each and everybody grow very fast. Let us consider if this lecture is the recorded lecture and it will be the available throughout the you can say on our YouTube channel. So throughout the country people they can think and they can check it and they can also interact and involve with the institution as well as the speaker also like that. So thank you very much, Dr. Deepansuji, for accepting our invitation. And I know that number of types of the difficulty you have feel during your study time, but every day and every year and every month we are growing in a technical manner, and we have tried to provide the facility. As you know that our we have the excellent hospital is the under construction, and within 6 months or the in a year we have the nearest facility adjacent to the college. So this types of the things we are the growing like that. Most probably 50% of the B Farm classroom they are converted in the form of the smart board, and also we are the moving toward the AI concept. So these types of the facilities actually we are the doing like that. So thank you very much without taking the more time, and I hope that you can give the what you have learned, what you have missed over here, what is the things required being a director or being a head of the department or a faculty, what types of the things we can include in the curriculum other than the you can say syllabi, so that this things will be the helpful to the student during their service or during their job profile or job like that. So thank you very much. Over to Dr. Koseji.
Thank you, sir, for your words of wisdoms and blessings. Every time you have shown us the path of glory and success, and all the students must follow this pulse to glorify their life in humanistic and scientific manner. Thank you so much, sir. Now, without taking much time, I would like to request Dr. Dipanshu Chitra ji to come on the digital dais and deliver the proceedings. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, sir. And as like Dr. Jiti Gupta rightly mentioned, that we need to think beyond the syllabus. And yes, we too, when we were studying PharmD at that point, we were also thinking, okay, this, if I talk about pharmacotherapeutics, yes, that's the core subject that we should learn about how the disease is working, right from its definition till how it will be managed. But when we step into the industry, right, uh, we actually get lots of questions because what we have exactly studied is not translated into the real practice, because what we have studied may be acceptable to the one who is joining as a clinical pharmacist in a hospital, or maybe as a specialty pharmacist if they are going overseas. But when we talk about the Indian setup, most prominent sector where the students are actually involved, that is one is pharmacovigilance, and then followed by the clinical trials where the clinical research associates or the clinical research coordinators are placed in. So these are slightly different fields compared to the core study that we do. Although the fifth year does comprise of like these particular points within the clinical research subject, but then again that contains a very limited scope. So we need to go beyond what we have learned, right? So over the past 7 years, what all the knowledge that I have gained and what all the experience that I've had, and along with the authentic sources, I have actually come up with a slide deck for all of you, so that in a very concise manner you would actually get to understand how the global and Indian PV market looks like, and then what as a specialized skills that you all need to have. What would be my personal advice to the students as well as to the institute, right? So that they can incorporate it and we may see like a much more flourished generation which are industry ready, right? So without further ado, I'll begin sharing my content. Do let me know when you are able to see my slides. Is it visible?
Yeah, it's visible. We can go to the PowerPoint mode.
Is the slideshow visible now?
Not yet.
One second, let me just reshare it. Right. Is it visible now?
Yes, yes. You can change the slides. We can just check. Yeah, it's moving. Excellent.
Okay, great. So I'll be going through what the industrial insight looks like within pharmacovigilance. I have had the opportunity to share this topic with like some of you in almost 3.5 years back. So that time I had some limited data, but now the industry has grown rapidly, and there are lots of new insights that I would like to share with you, including the buzzword of AI. All right. So what we will be covering today, we'll be looking at the bigger picture of what pharmacovigilance is, right? What are the actual insights from the global and Indian PV market? Which are the top companies that are leading the industry? What should be the essential skills that you people, when you will be stepping into the market, should possess? Then within a corporate setup, what a typical day looks like. Then obviously addressing the main, the so-called word of AI, which is kind of threatening to most of the people. How can you progress your career within this field? Followed by how to enter, right? Because lots of you would have the questions of how can I begin my journey? Followed by the most interesting aspect of how much would I earn? That includes both India as well as the global scenario. And then, yes, you should know what makes you stand apart from the crowd, because we know there are lots of pharmacy colleges and lots of graduates are coming every year, right? I would say in lakhs. So you should have some capability or some specific attributes that would make you special. And then my personal advice for the students, followed by what the institute can do for you. So, coming to the bigger picture, we know that pharmacovigilance holds its key mission that it has to ensure the patient safety by detecting, assessing, understanding, and preventing the adverse effects and other drug-related problems. Basically, it is the utmost requirement for the pharma companies since the beginning, when the thalidomide tragedy happened, even till now, and it's gonna go on. Remember this fact, guys, that if there is going to be disease till the end of this world, there are going to be drugs, there are going to be adverse drug effects, there is going to be pharmacovigilance. So pharmacovigilance can never die. Okay. From the business side, it is it is utmost important, because the regulatory agencies keep a close watch on all the companies that have their drugs out in the market, because it is not just a science which is just ensuring the drug safety, but when you ensure safety, you are also encouraging the patient's trust towards the product. In turn, it will also ensure good sales for the pharma companies, right? So that's how the entire ecosystem will work on. Then if we are thinking that how the pharmacovigilance has evolved now, if we talk about the current era, I would say from the traditional medicines, which means your simple drugs which were meant for your basic common ailments, that particular scope has expanded to include the biologics. Now even gene therapies are out there in the market. I myself have personally worked on a pharmacovigilance project of a product which was meant to be given to the pediatric patients for spinal muscular atrophy, and that was a gene replacement drug, right? It was given as a one shot for the entire lifetime. So you see, the scope is getting expanded to the newer molecules as well. Complex global trials are getting involved, right? So it is not just at the development stage, and we know that when the drug enters into the market, a robust scrutiny happens. It's not that once it is into the global market, then only for a couple of years it will go on. No, it's not like that. For the entire time that the drug is either taken out from the market, it is this practice is going to go on. So no need to worry about whether this field will end or not. Okay. When I talk about the key growth areas, now that there is the real world data with us, right? And this PMS is actually becoming very critical to how we develop our safety monitoring systems. Looking at the global market in terms of the economy, then I would say the market size is huge. As you can see, as per the last year's projection, 8.2 billion US dollars was the entire capping. It includes all the companies. Okay. So that much amount of revenue is being played out in the market. And if I talk about the further 5 years from now, it's gonna go maybe up to 14 billion USD. So you see, it's it's like never showing like a declining graph. It's always ascending. So that gives us a solid growth of around 9 to 10%, which is awesome, right? Even your basic FD doesn't show you much interest like that, but that's how the revenue is gonna expand. So if we see this specific expansion, this rapid expansion, what is driving this thing? So there has been a rise in the reporting of the adverse drug reactions. Adverse drug reactions have been happening, but at the same time, the reporting has also increased, which means that people are becoming aware. Okay. Now, I want to say a couple of things related to the awareness. India still lags behind because very if you look from the global pharmacovigilance or the global adverse drug reaction reports, India stands at a very low. So that awareness needs to happen within at the consumer level. Maybe some of the HCPs or what I mean is the healthcare professionals are aware about it, but the consumers also need to be aware. It's not like the same thing that if you have had any adverse reaction, you will go to your doctor. Doctor will substitute your medicine with another one or may alter the dose, and then your adverse drug reaction is healed. No, it's not like that. It is just a thing that has been fixed for you as a patient, but the data needs to get submitted to the health authorities. That's why awareness is very important. But yes, other nations have shown much higher awareness, and that's why we have seen a rapid increase in the reporting. And of course, the authorities have become very strict in their scrutiny on the companies. As I said earlier, biologics and the biosimilar launches have been promoted like in a vast, expansive manner. So when a lot of these products have come into the market, their their specific vigilance protocols have also been very robust, right? So because these are the things that will mimic your biological compounds. So if we will not monitor them how they are behaving within the body, then obviously it will be like a risk on the human health. And with the expansion of this high market, as you can see from the economy side and as well as from the complexity side, therefore companies now have started enabling AI. AI is being used everywhere. I'm sure many of you are actually using chat gpt in your daily lives. I too. Okay. There is nothing harm in accepting that. Remember that AI, though may look like a threat to us, but it is there to augment us. Okay. So don't be afraid of it. Rather, learn to leverage it in order to make your repetitive tasks being done in a quick manner. Okay. And and as we know that from the global side, you might have heard uh, the news about that the workforce is being laid off, right? But what we have seen is that even though from the other nations is being laid off, India has seen a rapid increase in the number of opportunities, because that's how they are considering India as a specific potential market where the entire workforce, including the ones that take the strategic decisions, are also being considered. That's why India is a very big market, which is being done with the help of outsourcing, as it adds to the cost effectiveness for the companies. So I was talking about India. Let's see the Indian landscape. India has now emerged as a global hub for the pharmacovigilance services, and it's being supported by the leading pharma companies. You might have heard most of the pharma companies have now opened up their setups within India. If you have heard about Hyderabad, so Amgen got opened up. Lilly is thinking to expand their business over here, right? As well as Bristol Myers Squibb was here. CROs have always been involved, right? I think from the very first stage when the pharmacovigilance might have started, they had considered outsourcing as one of the major their their driving force, right? So CROs have been in the picture, and biotech companies are also opening. This particular global scenario, if we want to talk about in numbers, there are over 150 plus dedicated centers for PV, and 30 plus global capability centers are there, GCCs, which operate from India. And if we talk about the cities within India that are leading in this front, include Bengaluru, Hyderabad, Pune, and Chennai. Although I can't ignore that the other cities have also opened up lots of CROs or the other companies, including Kolkata. You have Mohali as well, as we have seen a lot of people move to Perexel, correct? Uh, Mumbai is one such. Ahmedabad is also there, slightly rising. Delhi has like a couple of companies. But then, if we talk about the core leaders, where most of the companies are located, these four cities. Now, what kind of activities are being transitioned to India, or they fall under the India scope? So that includes case processing, the very basic one. Case processing, if it's not done correctly, you might be wondering that case processing is kind of a layman's job. Maybe some of you might be thinking that it can be done by anyone. If trained, then yes, it can be done by anyone. But if your data at the case processing level is not correct, then it will not go in the correct manner to the authorities. It will not go in the correct manner to the periodic safety report handling teams, the aggregate teams. It will not go in the correct manner to the further teams of signal detection and management. So you see, what you do at the first step impacts everybody else. So it is important to realize the value, to actually realize the potential, to realize the seriousness, to realize your worth, that if you do it correct, then ultimately you contribute to the global safety. So apart from case processing, India has also shown a lot of promise within the aggregate reporting sector as well as the signal management activities. With respect to the local systems, if I talk about the government, so the Pharmacovigilance Program of India has been running for a long time to continue to strengthen our local systems for the vigilance. Which are the companies that are leading this PV ecosystem? So from the core pharma or the biotech side, we have Pfizer, Novartis, Sanofi, Astra, Eli Lilly, GSK. From the CRO side, then we have IQVIA, Perexel, Icon PLC, Syneos is there, LabCorp, which is a part of it is now Fortria, Accenture is there. On the technological side, because since a lot of work is being done on the systems, so the companies that are involved in the technology and software platform providing ones have also become a global leader of the market. That includes primarily Oracle. It has produced Argus, which is a wonderful system, right? uh, Aris Global is there, Viva Safety, Innov, Genpact. So now you might be thinking we have gotten an understanding about what the outside world looks like in terms of potential market that the pharmacovigilance holds. But what I should have in me if I were to step into this particular industry? So, on the technical standpoint, you must be thorough with what are the various adverse drug reactions in terms of its classification. What are the stages involved in the ICSR case processing? What is medra coding? How many levels of medra are there? Which by that I mean levels of hierarchy, right? When are the medra versions updated? Correct. uh, what are the what specific team does that particular job? After that, you should also be very well versed with your guidelines, since within your clinical research you actually read these kind of guidelines, so you should know about the GVP, good vigilance practices. Read the European Medicines Agency's good pharmacovigilance practices module 6, that is entirely related to your case processing. ICH-E2B you need to know. Then other global regulatory guidelines too. You should be proficient in your safety database. Okay. Now I agree that if you don't have the access, how can you? But these are the skills that a PV professional possesses, right? So you can gain the experience either by doing some short-term courses, and also when you step into the industry, you will gain experience as you move on. So handling your safety databases like Argus, RSG, Viva. Fundamentals of signal detection and management should be clear. Search for some courses. Do your homework, because these are the things that should be clear. You should not be blank if you are going to face an interview. That what happens after case processing? You should know about what do you mean by aggregate reports. What is the work done within the signal detection and management? You might not know what a specific company is doing, but a general understanding about the process is encouraged. From the soft skills perspective, this is another side of you which is completely different from the technical side. Okay, there you should show your how your mind and your personality looks like. So you should have utmost attention to the detail. You cannot miss a thing, because the moment you do that, then your report will be incorrect. There will be errors. There will be like escalations also. So I am not trying to threaten anyone, but I'm telling the real world situation. One mistake, and the things become like everybody runs behind you. So it's like if like the regulatory authority catches a mistake, they actually talk to the company that what you have done. So like within the company, who is the leader of the PV, he or she faces it, right? And then finally it comes down to the associate level, that the person who did it the first. I'm hearing some background noise. Can anybody go on mute? Okay. And so apart from having the attention to the detail, your critical thinking should be on point. You should know how to write the medical narrative, right? Because since you have been in a professional course, you have prepared your thesis with, which is a much more bigger task, but that was related to your topic. Each case that you will handle in the pharmacovigilance industry will be different. It will be unique. There obviously will be the templates that will guide you, but then obviously ensuring like a consistent flow of how the medical situation and the clinical scenario happened with that specific patient. You should be able to write it extensively, and as well as incorporating all the elements that would make a crisp, as well as a at the same time like a structured report. Because whatever the healthcare professionals or the consumers report it, that looks like a raw format. It cannot be sent to the authorities, so your medical writing capabilities come into picture. Effective collaboration and time management are the most important skills in any place nowadays. I would talk about any corporate, or you be it in any workforce. Even you are, even if some of you wish to venture into the hospital side, you should know how to collaborate effectively with your peers, with your seniors, right? With the patients, if it is required. Okay. Similarly, within the corporate setup, you should build a collaborative environment, which means that if there is some kind of idea within your mind that you think it can be executed and it can be beneficial for the project, then you should think about how I can incorporate other people with like different skill sets, so that collectively, if we work on it, it will ensure a better outcome rather than always going solo. I know it's a competitive world that you want to stand out, but again, if your that attitude will actually lead into the adverse situation of the project, then it's not good. That's why collaborative uh, dealing is encouraged. Time management, there is, I think there can be no doubts about it, because time management is required right from our school days till the time I think we die, because we have to do our things on time. We need to prioritize what is my utmost critical thing that needs to be addressed first, followed by the less priority ones, and then the non critical ones. So we should be able to do it, and every individual can have their own map or have their own template of how they can manage their time. So it's up to your specific introspection how you build it for yourself. And you should be adaptable to the new technologies and the automation tools that are coming into the market, and some of them have already have arrived. Now, one thing that I skipped in the technical skills is the data literacy. I wanted to commit to now. Now data literacy, this means that handling data, uh, dealing with the data, which requires you to become, if not an like a highly skilled expert, but at least have an intermediate level skill developed within Excel. You should know Excel like anything, not like just copy pasting the value or adjusting the just the column size, or maybe entering like the plus and minus formulas. No, Excel is way beyond that. Okay, deep dive into the formulas, deep dive into the how to generate the pivot tables. Okay, uh, learn more about how you can do analysis using Excel, step into Power Query. Okay, then if like somebody of you want to venture into the technical side of the PV, where you want to work with the team that builds the databases, then you should have basics of the SQL as well, right? uh, if some of you are interested in like much more deep analysis, you think that you can develop certain tools for the better function of your project, then your foundation should be very much strong in Python and R language, so that you can analyze the data better, and you may venture into the analytics roles. Yes, those kind of roles are also coming. So, having told about what a PV professional possesses in terms of skills, let's see what a typical day looks like. Now, I have actually divided it into a 9 to 6 structure. There may be differences depending upon which organization you join, but usually a 9-hour shift is the average one. So if someone who is handling all the task, they may start off with reviewing the incoming case reports from the various sources, either email literature or the E2B. Then they do the triage part, where they assess it for the seriousness, expectedness, and causality that assigns the priority to the case, right? And then you do the data entry, meta coding. If like you enter into a setup where there are separate teams for like this kind of activities, so obviously that work is being done 24/7, right? If somebody has reviewed an incoming case report at night, okay, maybe because they were in the afternoon or in the late night shift, so obviously they have assessed it, and you are the person who is required to do the data entry and the meta coding. Then you will be handling that case in the morning, right? So the things will keep on running in a cyclical clock, so you need not to worry that if I'm starting at step number 3, what would my day look like. Even if you do like one case, you will be having a specific target that you have to complete, and it would take your entire time, because not only just doing this particular activity, you may need to attend meetings, there could be learning sessions, as well as there there could be collaborative hurdles within your team. Okay, and on some of the other days, there could be people engagement activities where you have to spend your time. So when so many things are actually there with you, So you have to plan your time effectively, wherein the time management skill comes. Okay, after doing the data entry and meta coding, then you have to do the drafting of the narratives where you summarize everything what happened to this particular patient. Then the case will go to the quality review for its checking. Okay, and then it might go to the medical review, or sometimes it can be directly submitted to the authorities. That totally depends upon how the project's requirements are, right? And you can also be involved in attending meetings on safety topics. I have, trust me, it is not easy that you will be finishing everything. There will be days that you can get frustrated, but then you have to back yourself up, that even though I could not finish my target, but I still learned something that was helpful. So don't get disheartened. But this is how what you will experience in a corporate life. There will be busy days. There will be like very easy days, busy as well as easy. So both the things can come, but then you have to keep your calm, that overall you have to maintain your balance. Okay, because not just work is there, but you have your life. So maintaining an optimal work life balance requires the adaptation of how you manage your time effectively. So just to tell you about what do we do with an ICSR, or ICSR as it stands for Individual Case Safety Report. It is the report that gets sent to the authority, okay, which contains that who has reported an event, on whom the event occurred, with which product, and what was the event. Okay, these four are the minimum valid criteria of forming an ICSR. So from a raw report, whenever a consumer or an healthcare professional reports it, to submitting that information to the authority, these are the steps involved, which includes case intake, triage. Intake means it is coming from just various sources and you are accepting the case. Okay. Triage means to doing the analysis of the case, wherein you check whether the case will get prioritized or not, because you review the content at a glance, and then you code the serious events first, so that the team who is handling the cases at the processing level, or if you also can pick up those cases earlier, because the timelines are like that. Then comes the data processing and the coding. This is the, I would say, the most time taking part of the entire ICSR, because you have to code each and every element, right from your reporter's information to your patient's information, including its everything related to the demographics, its medical history, right? Whatever the lab tests that were done. Some companies might require you to code everything. Some companies might require you to code just the abnormal ones. So that depends upon your project. Product coding, not only the suspect products with which an adverse drug reaction has been alleged, it also includes the coding of concomitant products too, because those also may have a correlation on what would have happened to the patient. That's why not missing a single information is the main task expected from the case processor. Okay, you can't skip a thing, because that's the most basic that you have to do. Okay, then coding. When I talk about coding, which means it involves the use of medra as well as your product dictionaries. When I talk about medra, you should, while being a PharmD student, you should be well versed with the clinical terminologies, with your ICD-10s, right? Then what a particular layman language is written, you should be able to correlate it with the nearest lowest level term when you code an adverse event in the Medra. Okay, so it requires skill, it requires practice, it requires knowledge and learning sessions as well. Continuous improvement sessions are being held in the corporate side. Don't worry about it. It's not like once you have been taught, so now you are on your own. No, you undergo a mentoring phase. You have the support of the right people with you. So don't worry. After the data processing and coding is done, the medical review is done, and prior to that, a quality check is done. So in like some cases, just after the quality review, the case gets submitted. But in some cases, the inputs from the physicians are also required, which includes like checking whether the particular event is listed in the reference safety documents of that specific product, right? And also assessing whether this specific, if like a patient has experienced 10 events and one event may be related to the product, the other is not. So that kind of medical knowledge and assessment is handled by the physicians. Generally, the people that form the medical review team are the MBBS or the MD pharmacological guys. After their review, then the case gets submitted to the regulatory authorities. A case may get submitted to 6 authorities, may get submitted to just one authority. That totally depends upon the product and its regulations in that come entailed with it. And finally, the case gets archived. In all these processes, a critical thing that a processor should keep in mind is the knowledge about the timeline that needs to be reported. So obviously, when you will enter into this particular industry, each company might have their own specific service level agreements. If I talk about CROs, then they might have their SLAs with the pharma companies that they want the case to get reported within so and so days, which may be very earlier in comparison to the global regulatory requirements. But that's how it is. Sometimes you have timelines in liaison with your license partners. Okay, but then broad understanding about what are the regulatory timelines that you should be aware about, because if you are facing an interview, this question will be asked for sure. What is the uh, regulatory timelines for the serious cases, for the non-serious cases? Now we have talked about how the ICSR traverses. Now let's address the elephant in the room, which is AI. Everybody is thinking about it. Everybody is dreaming about it. What AI will do to my life? People are using it for everyday functions. Some kind of dependence has also started to been been like developing in everybody's mind. But yes, people are also enjoying the outcomes of it, and at the same time they are dreading it, that what will happen to my job, right? Because it is said that anything that deals with computer, AI will take over it. So let's see how within the PV sector it's going through. Currently, the applications where AI is getting, implemented, or it has already been implemented, include automated case intake from unstructured sources. So I talked about the case intake step. Now that case intake has become automated, at least if not in all organizations, but some key players have do introduced it. So if like you are a physician, taking a very basic example, and you have reported an adverse drug event to say X company in into their email box, then they have these systems placed that as soon as that email will arrive in their inbox, automatically it will go into their safety safety database, and a basic intake will be performed. Okay, so that has been achieved. Natural language processing for triage and the medical coding assistance has been implemented. Now, which means understanding what are the elements involved into the report and then assessing whether this case entails a serious event or not, or what are the products are actually coded in it, are present in it, so that it will place the products in the respective placeholders within the database fields. So you see, those things with the help of AI are already being done. Medra, your clinical terms are getting coded. Okay, but don't be so much scared about it, because even though these things are happening, you as a case processor are still required to double check it, because we have also seen there are so many inconsistencies with like chat gpts or the other AI models that we are familiarized with. They are also making mistakes, but then what they are doing is actually being done instantaneously. That is saving your time with with respect to these like coding practices. How it saves time? Because if you are doing coding manually, then obviously every time the database will do the processing for like coding one event, then the next event, and so on and so forth. So if this particular natural language processing has been implemented, so that is actually an aid to your day-to-day tasks, right? Robotic process automation (RPA) has been implemented for the literature searches as well as the narrative drafting. uh, I can say that this is the most awesome feature that has come, because uh, even though it does draft the narratives, but still I would say the stage is very nascent. It may incorporate everything within the structures that is required as per the template of the narrative, but then ensuring a chronological flow, and then also making sure that everything that has been reported in the terms of the reporters and has been incorporated there, it is still somewhat making mistakes. So again, if your quality of data is high, which like you had done manually, that would create a skillful mind within you, that that you can evaluate AI's outcome. Okay. And it's not like we want to abolish AI, right? We want to incorporate it, but at the same time ensure our skill level is also matching the AI's one, so that at least we can do that within our field. We are not talking about image generation or the automatic video creation, right? But since this is the field where our expertise will lie, so so like you guys should consider it as your support. And yes, AI does help in the data analysis wherever there is the discrete data, like the structured data. It is becoming very helpful there, because the signals are getting identified early and trends are being made. If I talk about the future, what will be coming, that time we will be going to see generative AI for the expedited reporting and high quality narrative writing. So what is being lagged today maybe enhanced in future. Works are being done on it. But then again, you may think that the workforce may get concised. It may be not. We don't know yet. There is a possibility it can be, but you should be at par with your quality and your consistency. AI powered decision support systems mm, can be seen, right, for the validation of the signal and its management. And then we may see the AI related governance frameworks by the regulatory agencies. So that thing at the regulatory level is still yet to come. So now you have learned about the scales, you have also gone through how the AI would be dealt, but you are thinking, how can I grow? So here is a typical ladder that how you can progress your career. Every individual organization may have specific designations, but broadly, this is uh, you know, the hierarchical structure of how an organization works. So you start off as an associate, then you become a specialist or an analyst, then you become a PV scientist, then you, the if the managerial or side develops within you and the management thinks that you are appropriate for for leading a team, then you venture into the management side, you become a team leader, you become the entire projects manager, then you become the entire projects director, followed by the head of the PV of the complete organization, right? There is no fixed tenure for this, I would say, because that will depend upon the company's performance as well as your individual's performance as well, how you will be treated within your respective company. Company's performance means in terms of the sales and how much revenue they had generated the year, and your performance, which means what were the goals that were set for you, have you met them, and how far have you exceeded them. There is always a race. and yes, you have to excel in that. So there are no thoughts about it. But if you don't want to venture into the managerial aspect, there are also alternative specializations that you can become a subject matter expert in, which includes you can venture into the signal and the risk management side, which mainly focuses on the assessing and the minimizing the drug safety risks. You after the ICSR, you usually the people within the scientific side venture into the aggregate reporting. That is the periodic safety update reports, development safety update reports, periodic benefit risk evaluation reports. So there you can venture into. You think that okay, I want to be an auditor, then obviously you can venture into PV compliance and auditing side, wherein you would ensure that the processes, the like not only just the processes but the systems are all in adherence with the global regulatory guidelines as well as the internal SOPs that have been made. So you can conduct the audits, right? uh, and if you think that okay, I have done the scientific and the clinical side for like quite a long time, you want to go in the back end of how these particular systems are functioning, right, or how these particular systems are made, then you can consider involving in the implementation and management of the softwares which are related to PV and the AI tools. So there are markets, there are areas that you can explore for yourself. It's just that depends upon how you think is like important for you or how you think is going to be beneficial for you. Now, how will you come into this market, right? We have talked about the career path, but what you need to do. So we need to see what are the key entry points and identify the approaches how my career can go. So the common entry level roles that you may see in the market are PV associate, drug safety associate, and if the company wants to hire directly someone on the literature review side, then you may see for the literature review medical information specialist, or if someone wants to like be like a directly involved with at the case processor level, because sometimes the people are just involved at the triage level, right? So ICSR analyst can also be such roles. So these are the entry points, but what actions you can take? First, get certified. Enroll in like covering your certifications pertaining to GPV, ICH guidelines, MEDRA, so that your foundations are built up strong. Okay, you can look for courses on like various websites such as Udemy, Coursera, etc., where lots of resources are there. You may need to spend, but consider that you are spending it on yourself, you are spending it on your future, you're spending it on your resume, your skill set. So if anything that is being spent on you, you should afford it. Target the hubs, apply to the CROs or to the BPOs, because and all the other GCCs, because they have the large number of entry level hiring programs. You usually, if we see about currently in the last 5 to 6 months, the experiential roles have declined, but the freshers roles are like coming into the market every now and then. So you see for yourself, there are opportunities. Networking has become very important in like today's times, because as I said, competition is out there. Just like you, there are a lot of families, if not within Moga, but like within the state of Punjab. And if I talk about the entire country, then there are going to be lots. Yes, in comparison to how many students are passing out, there are not equal number of job opportunities, but that is where your smartness, your how you have enhanced your network, your connections with the professionals who are already into the industry, leveraging the the LinkedIn profile. Okay, having developed the connects via LinkedIn, talking to the peers, attending conferences. So build your network, gain experience. Now you might be wondering, how can I gain experience? I am a fresher. But there are few companies that also provide internships. Okay, I have seen like a lot of people had joined GSK for the PV internship. Some of them had joined Acovens, which has now become LabCorp, and now Fruit, and now Fortria. So you need to explore the opportunities, because if you incorporate these things, that your certifications and your experiences, so if internships are there, then obviously it will make your profile special compared to the others. And now, obviously, you are thinking, uh, how much will I earn? So, if I talk about the Indian PV roles, right from the PV associate till the director levels, you can see a starting of roughly around 3 to 5, and up to the director level, it is going up to 25 lakhs per annum. It it is actually a very decent amount, but don't compare yourselves with the IT professionals. That's a completely different skill set, that's a completely different market, and like the different outcomes of it. But if I talk about within the PV side, this is the current scenario that is going on with respect to pay scale globally. uh, like a typical PV associate would start somewhere around close to 70K, and then up to the director level it may goes up to 150K dollars per annum. So variations might be seen, that will totally depend upon the company, where it is located, and what is your experience. Sometimes the education is also given importance, like from like if you have done your education on the tier 1 college, tier 2, tier 3, all these things are being considered. Okay, so this is the current situation with like respect to the pay scale. It is an average approximate. It could be plus and minus depending upon the organization. Now, you are into the crowd, like I said. What will make you special? First, build a strong LinkedIn profile. Share your insights. Connect with the industry. Connect with the industrial leaders. Showcase your certifications. There is no harm in advertising yourself on the professional aspect. Okay, whatever you have done, it needs to get displayed, it needs to be seen. Okay, updation, be updated with the current regulatory guidelines. Okay, organizations, what is going on currently in the market, how the pharmacovigilance systems are functioning. Development of soft skills, very important. That will show you how your analytical ability looks like, how much attentive you are to the details. uh, what level have your medical writing has risen to, right? And how you will present yourself during the interviews. So practice. You can read books about it, you can watch videos on it, but then ultimately you have to develop your own soft skills. Like I told, communication is very important. Okay, communication is become like a key aspect in evaluating you as a person that will get employed. If you just have the technical side but your communication skills are poor, you may face the rejections. But that is why an overall and all-rounder approach is required. Okay. And when I talk about communication, that does not mean just your verbal communication with your friends or your colleagues. Corporate communication is slightly different, wherein you may be required to sometimes elaborate more on a specific topic and sometimes be very crisp depending upon the situation. Example, you are about to face an audit. If you have been if you have been chosen to face an audit, then you have to speak as less as you can. So variations in your communication styles are required. That soft skill development is needed. Okay, as well as your like written communications too. How you present yourself in the email, what is your tone, how much polite you are you are you like directly blunt, or do you introduce the topic in a much more polished manner? Okay, how do you address the unfavorable situations? Okay, how do you respond to the stakeholders? All these things are very important. Learning adjacent tools is another aspect that you must take care of. Develop your proficiency in the tools related to Excel, like I said, for like dashboard, Power BI for the data visualization. Power BI has become like a buzzword again, just like similar to AI, because it actually builds a very I would say nice and the presentable dashboards that are also taken up for the presentations in front of the senior management. So you see, one specific skill, if you are honed in, then you may have opportunities to, and I think I can put a limit on that. Okay. Meta query building is also, if you want to venture into that, right, that how you would how you would do the meta analysis, then you can learn the tools related to it. Becoming AI aware, understanding the fundamentals, that how AI's application is functioning into the PV perspective, and then ethically you can experiment with the automation tools to boost your personal productivity. Something at the very basic thing I can tell, because nowadays every organization is also developing your own specific GPTs. So if you want to analyze the, your work that you have done, place the raw data and then place your finished data, compare it with the help of GPT. Okay, every individual company will be having it. So that way you would get to know, like a summarized analysis of what mistakes you have done, and you can correct it then and there itself. So this is just one particular application that came out of my mind. You can think about lots when you step into the industry. Now, what I would like to advise at the student level to all of you: build up your foundation, master your pharmacology, because knowing about the drugs and their adverse effects is very important. Human anatomy, how our entire body is made up of how it functions, right? That forms your basic level of, I would say, a tool that you can use for adjudging whether an adverse drug reaction was caused as a result of the product or not, right? Because if you are understanding the pharmacology, the pharmacokinetics part, so you would be able to make some kind of judgment. Improve your writing. If you have like a level of writing here, you think you are the best, try going here, you will become super best. I don't know if that's a term or not, but you should improve it, right? Because uh, corporate writing, if I talk about the medical narratives, it is always judged at the higher levels. How you have how you have presented your data. English writing skills are most important. You shouldn't do grammatical mistakes. You shouldn't do punctuation related errors. You should not miss out on chronologies, right? Leverage the online courses. There are lots of platforms available. Coursera is there. Some of the courses are available on the WHOUMC website. Udemy is one such platform where the courses are available at a very affordable rates. So learn about the PV related systems over there, AI related. If you want to venture into data analytics, explore it. Now, practical exposure is also important. As I said, stepping like almost a 1 foot ahead compared to your peers is by gaining experience, which means that practical exposure you can gain via the internships. So it could be, I don't know whether such things are done currently right now, but if if you find an opportunity outside with the industry, you can do that. Or maybe, or like maybe the at the college level or at the university level, some kind of collaborative environments may be developed wherein you can, leverage those and then uh, gain practical exposures in it. And start your networking early, right? Connect with the alumni that are working within the industry, and make extensive usage of LinkedIn for the mentorship and the guidance. A specific person may not be able to hold hand, right, of yours, but he or she may be able to give you a specific direction that you can think about, that okay, this maybe beneficial for me, because corporate environment is challenging, it is demanding. Not everyone will have like a specific dedicated hour for you every day, but then every now uh, try to connect, be uh, like go behind the person but not too much. Okay, so that is what my advice for you at the student level would be. Now, as the institutions or the faculty members, what they can do, they can focus on integrating the practical training. Do include the hands-on modules for the case processing, medical coding, right? With respect to Medra, WHO drug dictionaries, and basic regulatory submissions. Getting the knowledge about what a particular uh, section within a regulatory report looks like, what it means, what are the specific codes indicated for, providing the real world skills. Software exposure is very important. Often we can see that there may be student related demos or the simulated trainings available for the databases. You can explore on that, co- connect with the industry partners, Argus, RSG, so that you can familiarize the students with the industry standards tools. Curriculum should be modernized. The current syllabus which has been prepared by the PCI, it is basic. It will develop your foundation about how human bodies, how drugs work, how the specific ailments are like running within your body. But then taking a step further and then integrating that how AI can be incorporated. If there can be a short term course related to the data analytics, so that will enhance the the mind of the students so that they can analyze it more critically, right? They will be able to handle the data better. uh, then obviously introducing them to the automation, right? How it is being done within the PV practices, all the other tools that are there with like respect to the Excel, Power BI, as I mentioned earlier. All these things can be done at the institutional level, so that should be really focused on. Fostering the industry collaboration is another piece of advice that I can give to the institution, that maybe if there is an opportunity, get to partner with the local contract research organizations. Maybe they can um, provide an opportunity for the internships, or they can enroll for a short term learning projects. Sky is the limit to think about it. And alumni network, in involving people with these sessions like these that we are currently having on, right? Involving more alumni from the various fields, so that students should know about what how and what the industry is functioning in the current times, what all they want, what all the hiring managers think, right? How the companies want to leverage. If I talk about just a recent example, two in my own company, two opportunities came out for the freshers or maybe up to 2 years of experience to join the pharmacovigilance team. Now, uh, I would say thousands of applications came in. Even I wasn't able to refer uh, like a couple of people. That much pool of applications we had, HR stopped it. But when the interviews were done, when not only just our team leaders, we have actually 6 team leaders within our organization, right? Every team leader was in the interview panel at one stage or the other, followed by the interview with the associate director. So you can see that the level of scrutiny and the level of, you could say, shoveling of the CVs and the profiles was done, that they want the best. So now the two that were finalized, they had already done the internships. Okay, so you see, standing, separate from the crowd will make you highlight. If you are within the crowd, then obviously it will take a lot of time for you to gain an opportunity and take the most out of it. So these are some of the references that I use my data for. And at the last, I want to say that life has no limitations except the ones that you will make for yourself. So don't worry. uh, I would say that how my father has advised me over the years, that the human mind is like Aladdin's lamp. So the more you rub it, the the more good things will come out of it. Okay. So like consider your mind like that and work on it. Stay consistent, stay focused, as PV is a dynamic and a rapidly evolving field. So when you will ensure your part done right, then obviously you will be stepping into the future where you will shape the industry, as your potential is limitless. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Chitra, for brainstorming session. And over to Jaslyn. You did a lot of good presentations, sir, on various prospects of PV. And if any questions are from the audience or the others gathering, can put in the chat box or can ask directly. All right. So there's no questions. So Jaslyn, please. Over to Jaslyn.
Thank you, sir, for this wonderful session. This session really helped us gain insights on pharmacovigilance and its industrial insights. Lastly, I would like to invite Dr. Saurabh Kose, sir, for the vote of thanks.
Okay, so thank you so much, Dr. Chitra, and on behalf of ISF College of Pharmacy and Internal Quality Assurance Cell, I would like to thank you from my bottom of my heart for sparing valuable time from your busy schedule. I know working in industry, you have reached cerebral heights, and we wish that someday come where we witness physically you here amongst our family uh, this series and that may physical connect better after this COVID era. We are having a lot of clusters in time. So once some time frame you got from your schedule visiting this side of portion of India, you are most welcome and hoping for your good career ahead and wish in future also will render your services as expert of pharmacy in India in pharmacovigilance and that is what is one of the thing. And since we got one question that standing out of the crowd from Injama Mulhak, standing out of the crowd. So my question is come forward, how come forward from the crowd?
Right. Thank you, Njamul. So yes, your question is valid, but as I said, if someone stands out from the crowd, what does it mean? That they are being noticed, right? How will you get noticed if you have something special? Okay. Now, how will you ensure that you have something special if you have worked upon yourself? Which means not just completing the PCI developed syllabus, but also learning about what industry is currently functioning on, how much skills that you have developed within yourself with respect to the technical side and with respect to the soft skills that I mentioned. What are the typical skills of a PV professional look like? Okay. Have you leveraged enough the opportunities related to the courses that are available on the external platforms? Have you built an extensive network via LinkedIn and the other social media connects with your peers, with your seniors, and with the other people who are the industry experts? Have you participated in the conferences where you get to know the latest industrial trends, right? So if you have all this knowledge and then you present those things within your within your resume or your CV, then obviously that will make yourself stand out from the crowd. You will be highlighted better, right? Leveraging your LinkedIn profile is very critical these days. Whatever special you have done, advertise it over it. Now by that I don't mean like a paid promotion kind of things, but your profile should showcase whatever the special skills or the certificates you have obtained, whatever the tools that you are expertise in. Write your LinkedIn bio in like such a manner that the HRs that are constantly looking for the profiles get attracted even in the initial 2 to 3 sentences. you start yourself something with the special, not just a mere PharmD graduate. If you are a mere PharmD graduate, then you are a part of crowd. But you have all the extras, then you are out of the crowd, which means special and your hiring opportunities are more. I hope I
That's
answered your question.
That's absolutely correct. And in the era of technology, information and technology, with the AI, we also deal with EI and the HI, which has to be participated. One of the most of the coined word you said during your lecture was communicating. Communication. In communicating, you should know when not to say, like audit. So during audit, say very less. So sometimes the communication is passive, and that is in future massive. So with these words, I would like to conclude this session. Thank you, Dr. Chitra, and I appreciate you have taken your time out of your busy schedule, and in future also we hoping to have some sessions. Okay, guys. So thank you all of you for joining, and once again I would like to thanks our today's alumni speaker, Dr. Dipanshu Chitra, PV scientist, and in future also we will have this session. So thank you, Dr. Chitra,
Sure, sir.
for joining us.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much for the opportunity.
Thank you all. And with this, I would like to conclude the session. And I would like to also thank Professor G.D. Gupta, Director ISFCP, Dr. Madhav Divedi, coordinator of this session, and Dr. Siddharth Mehan, IQAC coordinator, all the participants for joining and listening this session patiently. Thank you all. Thank you so much.
Thank you.